Oh, I need y'all. Would somebody come look at this? Come look at this shit. He like, no, you're not gonna get me. I don't want no part of this. I'm putting it out there,
Yeah.
and completely getting out of my lap. And it's beyond criminal.
It is.
Man, I'm just working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P, and a lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
For the first time, our first guest this year, 2021, please welcome to the show. Let's go live with attorney Akeisha Al-Shabazz, otherwise known as Ike Speaks. What's good with you?
Happy New Year, family. What's good? Thank you for having me back. I always enjoy being here.
Good. How you been? How was your holiday?
I'm good. It was good. I can't complain. I don't celebrate Christmas, so I had a good Kwanzaa and a good New Year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So has it always been like that, or is that something?
I stopped celebrating Christmas about 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
10 years ago. But I grew up 5%, so celebrating Christmas was just, a thing we did, like, just because everybody else was doing it. We didn't believe. I grew up in the project. Santa wasn't coming down.
I did not know
Santa did not come down no chimneys where I live. You would have been in a trash compactor, stuff like that.
I didn't know you was God body like that.
Yes, I am her. Indeed.
Okay.
I'll see you.
Shout out to the whiz, to the whiz.
Peace.
No, that's what's up. That's good to know. All right, so let's get into it. There's a lot of ridiculousness going on.
Yes.
You predicted and have been anticipating a lot of this.
Yes.
What we saw over the weekend with the 11 or 12 senators who are now really making a concerted effort to really disrupt what's about to happen tomorrow. Yeah. What do you think? How far do you think they'll get?
So I think the Democrats and a lot of people are underestimating them, or maybe just not able to see their game plan, because they don't necessarily I don't think they want Pence to decide this election. I think the end goal for them is to just get at least one or two states decertified to the point where we are under 270. Right? So if we're under 270, that's when the game changes. Because if nobody hits that 270 threshold, then it goes to the House and they get one vote per state. One vote per state for the president at that point. And it's more red states than there are blue states. And they win like that.
It could happen. It could just happen that way. Completely legal.
It could happen because we are in uncharted territory, right? And so all of the laws that govern what Mike Pence is supposed to do, they're very obscure. If you read them, most academics, including myself, are like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what are you trying to say here? Right. And so they contradict each other in some places. The problem is that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Right. And we're looking at the 12th Amendment, which deals with this particular issue. It doesn't say Mike Pence doesn't have absolute authority. His authority is only subscribed or minimized by the statutes that have been enacted by Congress. Right. So if Congress enacts a statute that's an opposite to the Constitution, that statute has to fall. It has to fall. So that was what the Gohmert lawsuit was about. Right. It got dismissed, and I don't know where it is on the appellate stage, but it seemed to me in reading just that it was sort of subterfuge. Let them think we're going after Pence and make it seem like we want Pence to have the deciding vote. That's not really what the end game is, right? So if they just get enough senators and enough members of the House to object, then just maybe one or two of those states don't get certified. And if that happens and we're under 270, it's a game changer.
So with the lawsuit, and you don't think that they're original, you think that was kind of a smoke screen, kind of a smoke and mirrors type thing?
I actually...
Were they exposing a loophole?
Yeah, they were.
And so but the fact that it failed, you don't think that move is a wash now?
No, because you got to understand, in order for you to get to the Supreme, you have to fail. And to try for you, I can't get you to look at my shit if I win. Right? You got to lose in the lower court. So I don't know what type of fast track appeal they're going to have. Wednesday is Wednesday. The 6th is the day. So if anything is happening between now and then, it needs to happen. And I don't know what we're having aside from Goldmark saying y'all need to go out there and exact some violence. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I mean, but that's what's happening. That's what they're saying. They're literally they're not even what did they used to do? They used to hint at it.
No, not subtle anymore.
They're like tear shit up. This, and he's still even with this phone call. Let's talk about this phone call.
Oh, the phone call.
I have some other clips here too. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
It's incredible.
But it's not. This is worse than anything. This is so new and so incredible. I don't think there's anything that you can't compare it to Ukraine.
No,
you can't. There's nothing.
Nothing.
And the fact that the cult of Trump is so far along, you can't not compare this to the effect that young Adolf had.
Yes, absolutely.
You can't not compare it because I mean, this is even his guy. Rafflesberger is his guy.
Right. He's like, you're a Republican and
he's like, oh no, I need y'all. Would somebody come look at this? Come look at this shit. He like, no, you're not gonna get me. I don't want no part of this. I'm putting it out there, and completely getting out of my lap. And it's beyond criminal.
It is. And I don't understand how there is no recourse. There's nothing happening in response. There's just are they like, well, fuck it.
That's an immediate walkout on any other job.
I don't understand.
That's an immediate. That's a when you get done, can you come upstairs, please?
Right. You get a security escort out.
Yeah, that's immediate, and it's just what is the I know you're in a lot of different circles or whatever, but what is the vibe? Are there still people who don't see this as a crime or as criminal behavior? Or
half the country
important decision makers.
Yes, right. But look, I mean, whether how they shake out, it really doesn't matter. It's the numbers, the sheer volume of the people that are supporting his efforts and believe he's doing the right thing. Because you got to understand, just as fervently as we believe that these motherfuckers is crazy, they believe that they are right.
Right.
They believe that they've been wronged. You could hear it in the call. He's like, listen, well, from what I'm hearing and what I've heard, like, this is what I believe, that they are shredding ballots and swapping out machines and doing all of this craziness that there's no evidence of.
Right.
But people believe him. And so they don't want to see anything happen as a result of this because they think he's doing the right thing.
Now, let's take a quick 8 seconds and listen to the highlight of the tape in case for those of you who are watching who have not heard. But this right here, there's a word for this, and I'm gonna say the word after I play it. All right, here we go. This is the meat.
Because we wanted to say, so what are we gonna do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes, fellas. I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. Because we wanted to say, so what are we gonna do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes, fellas.
So I watched enough First 48 and Narcos, and that's shakedown.
Yes.
That's extortion.
100%.
That's RICO.
Yes, that's 100%. All of those things. 100. I agree with you 100%. To the fact that he was even disagreeing with Mark Meadows and the other woman on the call. Like Mark Meadows is trying to. I think it sounded like he was trying to, temper it a little bit. He's like, maybe we could do a couple of recounts. He's like, no. We don't need that. Like what Mark said, we don't need that. We don't need a recount. I just need 11,000.
Yeah, just
180 votes. That's it.
Just find a way to give me the numbers that I need. Just however you do it. Just find a. I don't care. Erase your mark.
I'm gonna suggest to you, there's nothing wrong with you just saying that you recalculated.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Say 287,000 as opposed to 266. Why you can't do that? What do you mean?
Many people are saying you should do that.
Yeah, and you can do it. I believe you can do it. All right, well, a little bit more. Let's just a little bit more because this is just. I mean, you talking about fast news day? I mean, good gracious. Hold on, where we go? Here we go. Now this is some more meat of this. Ladies and gentlemen, your country is going down in flames. I don't know how else to describe it. It really is. All right, let's play this.
Proved conclusively that they were not scanned 3 times. They are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard. What we're saying is not at all what you were describing. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. No, Dominion is not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having. Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts? No.
Yeah.
You sure, Ryan?
Right?
Sure.
You sure?
Sure. What are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11.
I mean, just.
I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
That's an immediate asterisk by your name. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there's any pundit that could really just get on TV and look me in the face and really be like, nah, that's not what he meant.
Right. Oh, you're mistaken.
Yeah,
you think that they flipped it
within the realms of what we can do. He's talking about going inside of the machine and hacking your cable box. You do that to DirecTV, they at the door.
Right.
Yeah, they cutting the whole block just to get you.
What my problem with him is that he doesn't understand that it's fundamentally problematic for you to make an allegation based on what you heard.
Yeah.
This is what it's rumors. He admits it's rumors, basically. This is what I've heard. We don't have, and in other parts of the conversation, they admit we made some allegations about dead voters, but we really don't have the information that you have. So you give us the information, and Rathberg, his retort is, yeah, it was only 2 dead people, not 5,000. 2 dead people.
And that's why I call this segment Against the Law, and we feature attorneys from all walks of practice, because there are things that we think we know.
Right.
And I want to put those things up against the actual law. So the one thing that from watching Law and Order, I know hearsay is inadmissible. How is it that they've gotten hearings and it's gone all the way to the Supreme Court with no evidence over the last couple of months? How is that even a thing? Like, how is that even a process where somebody doesn't open it and be like, no?
Well, when you first file a lawsuit in your complaint, you make allegations. You're not called on to have to prove anything just yet. And so remember, they made a bunch of complaints, and in those complaints had allegations and affidavits, which was tantamount to their evidence, right? Affidavits from people who say, I saw, I heard. That's not hearsay. These are firsthand accounts, allegedly, right, of things that they said that were taking place at these voting places that were untoward or whatever have you, right? So they have some measure to support the allegation, but you don't necessarily have to put your evidence out there just yet. That's why there's a process after you commence a lawsuit called discovery, and that's when we change hands, and then you can see my cards and I can see your cards, and then you can tell me whether you still want to go to trial after you see what I'm coming with, right? So that's it's a different standard at that stage, and you see that even with what they did present, most of those lawsuits were dismissed.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Georgia real quick. So that's
Georgia
down to the wire, heavily contested.
Yes.
Right now in real time, in the moment. Do you think that what's happening in DC, are they plotting and moving and trying to position themselves to wait on the outcome of that? Or are those 2 different clusterfucks happening in their own silos?
I think they are 2 individual cyclones happening in their own worlds, like you said, so to speak, right? However, I think one affects the other, right? Okay. Because even Trump has indicated that he believes that because of all of this voter manipulation, these allegations, that there are a lot of voters who are not going to turn out in Georgia. And so the Republican vote may not be as robust as you might expect, given the importance of this election. Right. So we'll see if those numbers pan out in terms of how many Republicans turn out, because, they typically wait. They're not early voters. So a lot of the early voting is done by Democrats. And so we'll see if tomorrow, if they show up in droves and in those numbers. So we'll see. It's interesting to me, right? Even though, aside from the Senate race, we've got people who are being sworn in,
right,
who are going to contest the election on the 6th. And I'm like, how the fuck
who just got there.
Like, thank you, and I appreciate the election, and the election wasn't fair. Like, how are you talking out both sides of your mouth?
Ah, that's right. I didn't even think about it like that. They're contesting an election that they won in.
You won.
Oh, I didn't even put that together. I didn't even do that math.
That's the. It's I don't know.
So, DC, the mayor just pulled out. I'm gonna try to get that clip later, but 340 active National Guard, activated 340 National Guard in preparation for what could happen between tomorrow and Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because they have already, that side has already invited their people, their base, to come and tear up shit.
Listen, can we go back to Proud Boys Stand By?
Yeah, well,
all right. This shit is not new. They know coming. Trump has been from the gate before elections came. He said, absentee ballots, y'all watch those ballots, watch the mail-in ballots up. This is going to be, it's going to be stolen. He set up for this. He knew that this was coming. He knew he was going to lose, and so he set the table for this.
Now the common person, right? Everybody else of us who was like, nah, I voted. Oh, I'm sick of this. I'm over this. What now? What we got to do now? We're watching on the news. You still going grocery shopping. Your state got you in lockdown. Another national lockdown is coming. Yeah. Tomorrow and Wednesday, like what are we supposed to do? Like we're literally watching our democracy, and some even say our republic is just dismantling right in front of our face. Yeah. And most of us don't know how to deal with it because we don't know. There's been no precedence for this, right, other than something you read about in a history book that happened somewhere else.
Right.
So the average, citizen, what should we look for coming this week? Because I'm telling you, January 20th is not going to look how you want it.
Yeah, it might not.
I got a feeling
too.
You're confused. You can be confused.
Very. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I thought y'all said that. Well, wait a minute. So like, what are we supposed to do? Like, what level of activism, is supposed to be, by the people and for the people and citizens rule and all of that. But like, no one knows what's going on. Right. Are we supposed to go to work every day?
And that's exactly what I'm going to suggest. I suggest that everyone try to have some semblance of normalcy the best that you can, because you can't do shit. There's nothing else you can do. So live your life. Live your best goddamn life. Go to work if you're working. If you go to work, go to the gym. If you're a gym rat like me, plan out some shit. You got a whole year to plan out. Do your vision boards and write down your goals and, plan your life as if you want it to be uninterrupted. Set your intentions for this year. Don't be distracted by what's happening in big government, because at the end of the day, it may not affect you in the ways that you expect it to affect you. So go on with your life the way that you have been, in the best way that you can. Protect yourself, provide for your families, because the government is not going to do it for you. Right. So we've got to keep pushing. Right. We can't fold. We can't stay. I'm not a stay in the house type of person. I don't give a fuck who says stay in the house. Right. Vitamin D is outside these walls. And that's the shit that keeps us healthy. And if you don't get any, you are setting yourself up to be sick, not with just coronavirus, but with all other manner of illnesses. Right. So try to be as normal as possible, but keep your eye on the ball. Pay attention, right? Just pay attention to what's happening, just in case you got to get your go bag and you got to bail out.
Now you said most of this won't affect us, but we see directly that the stimulus affected many of us, because it went from 2,000 to 1,200 to 6.
Well, it didn't affect you because it didn't do shit for you. $600 ain't doing nothing for nobody.
Right, but people point to that and be like, "Well, the decisions being made do affect me directly," and then if the Republicans get the Senate back, that will affect me directly. So there are people who really,
they really are disillusioned about their powers and abilities to affect what's happening, and we don't have the power and ability to affect what's happening in Washington. You have the power and ability to affect what's happening in your local areas, right? And that's where people have to galvanize movements locally. That's where the power is, right? Like I had a case this New Year's Eve. Guy, this is New York for you. The guy died. He gets shot, loses a ball, he gets shot in the groin, lost a testicle, went to the hospital. The Bronx. Yo, I got shot. They call the cops. Cops are like, who shot you? I don't fucking know. They lock him up. Oh, you must have shot yourself.
Oh.
They didn't recover no gun, nothing. They locked him up, charged him with possession of a gun on New Year's Eve, even though they didn't recover no gun, and asked for $100,000 bail. When he was recommended for release, right? Because, they have this assessment when you get arrested and they do whether you're going to come back to court. He didn't have no bench warrant history in the last 5 years. I think I ain't been in trouble in 8 years. Judge was like, yeah, $25,000 bail. I'm like, on New Year's Eve in the middle of a pandemic? That's the shit local people, but people don't know about that. Those are the judges. We need to get these motherfuckers out. They have the impact and effect on your everyday life, that of you, your friends, your children, and things of that nature.
But how do you know, during election season, how you know that the judge you pick is capable of that? Who'd have seen that? Nobody would have seen that.
Their history. Look at their records. Look at their decisions. You can tell who's going to be the one. Shit, it is not hard to tell who's a progressive judge and who's not.
Now, is that you think that type of ruling was punishment for not telling?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The lieutenant told me. Lieutenant Francis from the 446 precinct told me under no uncertain terms. Well, if he's not going to help us solve this crime, we'll just charge him.
Ah.
Yeah. So.
Gee. Rockman in the peanut gallery said this story is nuts.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
I got a whole lot of stories. You ain't shit. This is a good one. That's done. He made bail and he ain't sit in jail for years like some of these other people. I know.
Yeah, but he's a uniballer now. I mean,
exactly.
Down to one ball.
Down to one ball. I'm like, ain't that punishment enough?
Yeah. He can't be with the big baller brand no more. Get a 10-day contract. Give me another one quick story, and I'm gonna open up the phone line too. 765. Let's go. Anybody want to talk to Ike Speaks? You're more than welcome. Jump on and ask a question. You got one more story.
I got a good one for you. So I had a young guy, no criminal record. He goes to pay a ticket at the courthouse in Queens. The police arrest him and say, somebody told us you committed a murder 2 years ago. Murder don't have no statute of limitation. He like, right. Murder? I ain't have no murder. I had beef with homeboy, but I ain't kill this dude. We had a fight. We scrapped it up. I washed this dude. They like, no, somebody shot him. He's dead. Right? So they go back and forth, back and forth. My client is in there. He's not this very sophisticated dude. They show him the law. Now, these is cops. This is the 113th precinct in New York. These motherfuckers hate me, and I hate them too.
Okay.
They printed up the penal law so that they could show him the difference between murder and manslaughter. Then they sold him the story like, yo, we know this dude was a bad dude. You did us a favor by getting him off the street. Just tell us what happened, and we'll make sure that the DA knows that it was self-defense. You ain't gonna go to jail for self-defense. But this motherfucker wrote a whole statement out. Shot him, and all of that. I said, and then what happened? He was like, and then they told me I could go home after I wrote the statement and signed it. I was like, and then you get to go home. I said, you never saw a Birds 48, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. Sit tight.
It was like they got in my head, and a lot of people think they got the intestinal fortitude to stand up to an interrogation until they get their asses in the chair.
Till you've been in that chair. That's my favorite part of the episode when they get them to confess with a little lightweight confession, and they be like, all right, hang tight.
Stay right.
And they think they're going home. You're not going home ever. And in some states, I'll be like, and so I watch Georgia and Oklahoma, everybody gets life. Everybody.
It's not a game.
Oh man.
And they usually don't know shit about the crime.
At all.
You know what I mean? They usually don't. And so what happened with this guy, he spent 2.5 years in jail. We went to trial on his false confession. The judge denied me a false confession expert, and I'm like, you guys are. They do everything they can in their power to keep people from having a fair trial. Fortunately enough, these Queens jurors saw through that shit, and they acquitted him on all counts.
So he got lucky, right?
He got so lucky because that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen, right?
Most people think I would never confess to something I didn't do. Right? That's your thinking. It's antithetical for me to admit to doing something I didn't do. Right? And so they tend to believe that. That's the holy grail. A confession is the holy grail of a trial.
Right.
right? And so for us to go to trial, people were like, "You going to trial with that Ike? You fucking right? Because what's my options?"
Yeah, you don't have no option. They're going to railroad you.
Football numbers. You want these football numbers? Like, fuck that. Let's roll a dice.
And that's my. So people have been asking me, for the new year, and what do you think this and this? To me, that's my number one issue. That is my number one issue, because they don't realize, the other side doesn't realize how close even those of us who aren't criminals,
right?
How close we are to being done dirty by the criminal justice system. Like, that's our number one issue as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, I agree. Because it takes nothing. It takes nothing. And so people that are on probation, right, which I think is the biggest trap of them all, right? Probation, because probation says you can't get rearrested. Right? You're on probation, you can't. You have to live a law-abiding life. Motherfucker, I'm black. If I walk down the street, I could get arrested.
Right.
That's a violation of your probation. And the standard is different on the VOP. It's like, oh, you violated probation. That's a violation. You're going upstate.
Mm.
And you didn't do anything.
Yeah, and then they got some states. I used to call California as a penal state, because they got gang injunctions, which a lot of people really, you don't even understand it. They got a thing called contact. I mean, if you make contact with anybody with an affiliation, that's a violation.
Yes, it is. Here too.
Like, you can't even be like, "What's up?"
Nope. You cannot consort with known felons.
Be on a corner that's been injuncted. And like, it took me a while when I lived out there. It took me a while to understand. I didn't get it. Right. And then I saw it play out a couple times, and I was like, "Oh, that's some wild shit." That, like, in DC, y'all would be a rude awakening if they had that. Like, your grandmother house is on the block, you can't go on the block.
But how are you supposed to know everybody criminal history?
Right.
I know this dude got 2 felonies. I can't be around them. I know that.
Oh, they trying to lock everybody up. But yeah, it's a wild scenario. So we're on the lookout. Tuesday, Wednesday. This should all be over with officially by Wednesday. That's the official part. What's your forecast? What's your forecast?
You know what? I know that once these senators they start objecting, the process on January 6th is going to be drawn out, and it may be days. It could be days, right? Because they get to debate. They got to go into closed rooms and they got to debate these issues out, and it takes time. And every senator is going to have something to say about this state or that state. And there's not just one state in play. There are several states that they are contesting. So it's going to be a while. I don't know if it's going to be over on Wednesday. I really don't.
Well, there it is. She's been right before, ladies and gentlemen. Ike Speets, attorney Ike Al-Shabazz out of New York. Appreciate you coming on the show. Fan favorite.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
It's going to be a thing.
Soon.
I don't care if it is a closet.